Welcome once again to the reading room. The companion, hello. The companion, you always interrupt me. Do you make a noise or something like that? For the companion YouTube channel for the podcast, the Comic Shop AC Podcast, or no, Facebook.com/the Comic Shop 1.
Right.
Yeah, you proud of yourself?
No, I didn't do anything.
Anyway, it's Sunday, August 13th, 2017. Scott, Eric, hi.
Yeah.
All right. It's Secret Weapons Day on the reading room, in the reading room. But before we get to that, Scott brought up, as usual, 8 pounds of books, and he's going to talk about half pound book.
I'm not really going to talk too much about any of them, really. But I thought it was funny when I was digging around. I found a 3-issue series, DC and Dark Horse, Batman vs. Predator.
Batman vs. If you remember, this is a very cool little run here.
Yeah. Well, it's the Predator prowling
Gotham. it's that I really like. There's a lot of elements to that story that are really cool. There's a lot of panels in that story that are really cool, especially towards the end.
Especially the end.
Especially,
I mean, we got 3 books worth of Batman trying to figure out where and actually squaring off against, injuring, running away from the Predator, who we all know is basically just a great killer.
Yep.
And then at the end, he defeats but doesn't kill it. But all his buddies show up, and it's forced to commit Harry Carey, basically.
Essentially, it has to run itself through with its own sword, and the sword is presented to Batman. The resolution of that storyline is actually pretty cool, and and everything about that storyline is great because it's a mix of the weird uncertainty of the Predator storylines and what it is, where's it coming from, and then the mix with Batman's natural detective skills. Oh yeah, it's a very cool. It's years and years old. I recommend. We'll do some overlays on it. I want to do an overlay of specifically that panel where
it runs itself through.
Where he runs itself through, because that's
91.
91. So that was when it came to the resolution. I mean, that resolution paid that storyline off big time.
And 80s kids out there. Another couple things that I found when I was digging around. The original Voltron, #1.
Let's see this.
And that's kind of beat up, but
Modern.
it's still awesome. I don't know who Modern Comics is.
No, 1984,
it might be a subsidiary of one of the majors.
This is not mint on card.
No. Also, I found Robotics.
I remember this book. I remember that cover too. And when he pulled it out, I was like, "Oh my god!" I remember that cover. It's so. This is back. I mean, Robotics is like, oh, let's take toy lines and turn them into comic books, Transformers and GI Joe. I remember.
I have Mask as well.
I remember that too. Was that a Marvel? Because that was a Hasbro joint.
That was a Marvel. Or
was that a Kenner joint? Mask.
The comic book was Marvel. I think it was Hasbro.
Comment. Let us know.
I think it was Hasbro.
Do our research for us because we're lazy.
Also have DC's first run at. I don't know if it's maybe first run at this series of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Which is right around Wrath of Khan.
Because that's the uniform that they got on. Yeah.
Is that sealed? Oh no, it's not.
No,
sealed.
no, it's a bag.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize that I had these old first run Exo Man of Wars.
Yeah. Speaking of Valiant.
Yeah.
Because speaking of Valiant.
This is issues number 23 and 28. I'm not sure. One of them says free Upper Deck Valiant era card inside. Whether or not it's still there, I don't know. But I didn't even know I had those.
Yeah.
It must have been in one of them boxes I picked up. But yeah, they're great. And the art in the original run is just as good, if not whatever.
This cover is pretty cool. I like this cover.
That's a female.
Yes, it is a female. It's a female wearing the armor.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's Arik right there.
Yeah,
not wearing the armor.
Not wearing the armor. The armor's looks like shattered around him. When he still has both arms. Or both hands.
Both hands, yeah.
Yep.
But that's pretty cool. Anyway, let's get to the meat and potatoes.
So we'll give you some overlays, a couple of those covers. But yeah, speaking of meats and potatoes, it's Secret Weapons Day. So what I understand now, and something I didn't realize beforehand, in interest of full disclosure, apparently this is a limited run of 4 books.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be a continuing series.
I thought it was. I didn't realize it was a limited run. Charles,
so we're going to have to pick a different house book after this one's over.
I'm perfectly fine. You know what?
That's fine.
We could do Mage.
Well, you'd have
That's
to run
an image
backward.
title.
You'd have to run backward, though.
No, we'll just do the third arc of Mage.
That's fine.
Anyway,
We digress.
Even on this, we dig ourselves holes. So anyway, this is the issue or the episode where I was going to do a little bit more of a deep dive on the characters, the storyline, the background. All right, so let's just talk very quickly about the characters. The first issue is kind of like the meet cute for us in the book. Introducing the characters. There's a little bit more exposition and setup for exposition that happens in book 2. So I want to run down, I'm going to give you basically, really quick, a blurb, kind of the title page blurb, and a rundown of the characters, just to give you an idea of what this book is about. So, Psiots, P-S-I-O-T-S, are individuals with extraordinary abilities of the mind. However, their powers remain latent unless activated. If they survive the activation process, pausing.
Psiots, mutants, metahumans.
Metahumans, inhumans, whatever.
Yeah.
If they survive the activation process, there's no, thank you, because there's a couple of pulls I'm going to...
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that their new skills will prove useful. That's where the Willows came in. It served as a place where Toyo Harada could send his expensive failures, like Nikki, Owen, and their other friends. We're going to meet Nikki and Owen here shortly. But after Harada's Harbinger Foundation was exposed, the residents of the Willows were no longer safe. Now they're being hunted by a Psiot-hungry predator named Rex-O.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Crazy.
Yes, and then the name Rex-O as opposed to Exo, I don't know if that's a valiant thing.
I don't know.
We're going to find out. There's some corollaries to other books.
It's similar.
Right.
The imagery in issue 1 and what I just looked at in here,
Yeah.
he's similar in imagery to like Death's Head. Marvel's Death's
Well,
Head.
okay.
In imagery only, I don't know.
I can see that. Psiot-hungry predator Rex-O, and it must rely on the guidance of Amanda McKee, a.k.a. Livewire. This team of super rejects will have to harness their lackluster abilities in order to survive. Characters that we've met so far, not inclusive, but Amanda McKee, technopath, used to work for Harada, then had a fundamental disagreement, and now does not, and now protects the rest of, I guess we're going to call them the secret weapons.
Secret weapon. She called herself a secret weapon.
Yes.
These guys are just flunkies from the project.
Right. Nikki Finch, an ornithopath. That's the ornithopath, whose last name is Finch, because why not? And a
I
talented...
didn't even get that to begin with. That's funny.
Yes, and a talented gymnast. That comes to play in the book. She has physical abilities. She's one of those comic book characters who has a power, but also has natural human level,
Being a gymnast.
but excellent but human level physical abilities. Has the ability to communicate with birds and uses her athletic skills to defend herself and her friends. Owen Cho, we meet in the first book. Nikki and Owen meet in the first book. A conjurer who just keeps pulling the most useless stuff out of the air, like an umbrella when he wants a shotgun, but it becomes useful later. Spoilers, he gets stabbed in this book, and he starts, because he's in a traumatic situation, he pulls up like a pillow. And one of those singing bass fish that he used to hang on the wall and say, take me to the river.
Yep.
Just useless stuff. He can't control what he conjures or when he can conjure it.
As yet.
Now we have Avakal Malakar, who is a Harada Reach. He's an interesting one. He has the ability of
meeting him yet.
stone skin. You meet him in this issue.
Okay.
He can turn his form into living stone.
Well, that's useful.
Yeah, but he can't move.
We can't move.
So there's a scene where literally he responds to being attacked by turning his thing to stone, but he's off balance when he does it, so he just falls over flat.
That's terrible.
Yes. And then the other character that's listed on this is the second page,
Rex-O.
second book title page is Rex-O. We don't know about him. We don't know what's going on with him. We find that out in this book. There's some stuff that's going on in this book. So we met them in the first book. Now in this book, there is some more exposition. Sup, Tractor?
Tractor being sexy.
All summer long, if they... Sup, Tractor? Just a Tractor. We're going to do the same bit every time.
Yeah.
Okay. Might as well, man. It's a callback. Don't mess with a classic. So we have a couple of really cool panels showing Livewire. They call her a technopath. I like to call her a technomancer, just because it sounds sexier.
Well, she can interact with...
She interacts with technology at its basic level.
Right.
Like being able to basically take herself...
She can broadcast, or she can manipulate.
Take herself and put herself into any network, her consciousness, and into any network, retain her consciousness. Plus, she can also manipulate technology in the physical realm.
I say again, box.
So you see a lot of this stuff going. You get some exposition about
Looks like
what
she's communicating with Rex-O. Somehow.
she is actually talking to Rex-O. Something about Rex-O exists in the database in the dark web, and eventually the connection gets cut off. And there's a bit of
Operation
Insurance Policy. He holds up a card. I'm going to give you this page here as an overlay because it's very cool. I like the way the art of her being in the dark web is portrayed. It's
portrayed similar to when Charles and the Shadow King were fighting in the astral plane. Different colors, negatives.
Yeah, all right, not bad. It's a good pull.
Yeah,
it's a good pull. But also in the way the code is represented, sort of matrixy.
Yeah, matrix.
But very pink, not very green.
Yeah.
And then there's other stuff that happens. We find out Owen Cho, the guy who can bring stuff out of thin air, he never knew where it came from.
Yeah.
I'm spoiling some of this book for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to read it.
Okay. He never knew where it came from. So he ends up like accidentally conjuring a pink balloon because Nikki grabs his hand and apparently there's a little bit of what going on there between the two of them, a little tension.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. And he conjures this balloon, and the thing about this is there's a knife that Rexo was using needs to be taken to a person called Cheap Jack. Cheap Jack's power is he can give him an object, he'll tell you where it came from, he'll tell you who owned it, he'll tell you everything
Psychometry. Psychometry,
whatever you want to call it. There you go. So he does that. So Owen, we find this out about Owen. He says, can you tell me whose this is? And it's the balloon that he conjured like 8 panels earlier. And he says, it's yours. And be careful, it's filled with hydrogen.
Hydrogen?
Kind of like the Hindenburg.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And at that point, it was like, I never knew where this stuff was coming from. I didn't know if I was stealing it from other people, bringing it from another dimension, bringing it from the past, bringing it from the future. Apparently, he's actually literally creating this stuff out of thin air.
The fact that it's filled with hydrogen is kind of cool.
That
comes in handy.
You know, there's this thing where I think it was Anton Chekhov, a famous Russian playwright, who said, if you see a gun in the first act, it better go off in the third. Mm-hmm. Enough said.
Yeah, I like it.
Enough said. And we get another Rexo attack, and then we get the Stone Man.
Now, what happened at the end of the last issue? The guy that could light things up, they haven't gone there?
No, I'm going to assume at this point either he's dead or they're saving that for a later issue.
For a flashback.
Yeah, check out the back of the first issue. The guy who can just randomly, when he grabs something, makes things glow lightly. He basically turns anything into a glow stick.
Power.
What's that? I'm saying.
If you're a spelunker.
That's the no. It depends, man. See, the thing about it is all this stuff can come in handy at some point.
Situations.
Like the birds offer intelligence. The birds tell Nikki where to look for the person who may be able to tell them who's in charge of Rexo.
How do the birds know that?
Because the birds fly all over the place. It's just like Bran in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Warging a raven.
Okay.
It's kind of like that, except there's a direct conversation that happens between the birds. The birds have names and they're little friends and stuff like that. Right, Statler and Waldorf back in history. So there you go with episode 2 of Secret Wars, and we meet another character who's in there. Secret Weapons. I'm gonna call it Secret Wars every time. We kind of meet the guy who apparently is the scavenger, who's guard. We met him in the first issue. We see him a little bit more in this issue. And we get a sense that he's not straight up like a psychopath, but maybe he is. We don't know. He's at a grocery store. He's buying vegetables. He brings his own bag so he doesn't have to use one from the store. He feeds a stray dog. Then he goes down in the basement and he shoots Rexo with a caulk gun tube full of who knows what. And then bring me live wire so you can basically soak in her blood and absorb some of her powers.
Yeah, she's basically transferring.
That's what
powers.
He's doing. Rexo is in some way an amalgam of other psiots.
Nice.
Right. So, that's Secret Weapons number 2. A little bit deeper dive into what happens in issue 2. Like I said, more exposition. It's a funny book.
Well, there's definitely some funny
It
parts.
really is a funny. You understand where the gravity of it is? The gravity lies in Amanda McKee. The humor is in Owen and Nikki. The uncertainty lies in the other characters that keep coming around, like this guy that turns his skin to stone. He wants to just bugger off at the end. He doesn't want any part of this. He's like, I got a family, I got a life, I got like graduate school or something that he's going to. I got midterm school. Right? That's this guy.
I think we're in a sheriff's stuff.
You got to read the book. They're in an old theater. She finds the costume. That's why she puts wings on. Oh, because of the bird thing.
Sure,
clever.
Casablanca. Nice.
And this, yes, and it's an old marquee poster for Casablanca.
They're eating takeout on Casablanca? What?
It's just a poster. I love that movie more than anybody else does. Just a poster. but yes, there is some excellent action. There's a really cool shot of Rexo getting hit by a Land Rover or something like that.
Whatever, it looks like a
He
house.
gets smuck, hardcore.
Doesn't look like it slowed him down to him.
No, that's Amanda running towards him.
Oh,
no,
right.
he goes off after that.
Time to initiate self-repair.
Time to initiate self-repair, something like that. So that's when he goes back and he needs to get shot full of the shotgun full of stuff. There's a flashback to the Willows, the facility where they were all kept.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yep, where he turns his fist of stone to open up a. He tries to conjure a pair of scissors, but conjures a bra. Owen does, and Archival turns his fist of stone and explodes a bag of potato chips, and everyone has left. So they were at the Willows together. There's this. I don't know who this is. That's not Amanda McKee. There's a fourth person at the table. It's a woman. Don't know who that is. But there's a flashback to they all knew each other at the Willows. So it's cool. Like I said, the flashback giving exposition, direct exposition with this is what's happening, with this is what's happening, with this is what's happening, why this is happening, this kind of thing. And the peripheral characters coming in and going. I'm enjoying the heck out of this book. I really am. So here you go.
Yeah.
Secret Weapons #2. Now I wanted to
Definitely.
talk about the feedback that Charles gave after not last week's episode, the episode before that. And I said we're going to save it for this one. So he wanted to talk specifically about Toyo Harada, who's Charles is the Valiant guy.
The Valiant universe in general.
So,
he's the big bad.
I'll give you a just what he said verbatim. Toyo Harada is one of the main villains in the Valiant universe. He is a very powerful Psyot who wants to rid the world of war and poverty. He establishes a foundation to accomplish this, which I'm assuming is the Harbinger Foundation. To accomplish this, and actually starts his own city-state. He wants to activate young Psyots, but the process is brutal. He activates many powerful Psyots, including Pete Stanek. I don't know who that is.
Before activating other Psyots, he's describing Magneto.
Or possibly, or kind of a weird cross between Magneto and maybe Dr. Doom. In a way.
Well, Dr. Doom never really called others of his kind because he doesn't
No,
have
that's
any.
true. But the city-state thing. Well, then again, Magneto does the same thing. I guess there are parallels, definitely parallels in the major houses to what this character seems to be. But I don't know this character, so I'm not. Without going into a, I don't want to draw too many conclusions or assumptions about the character without knowing.
That's what I do.
So he says he wanted to activate young Psyots, but the process is brutal. He activates many powerful Psyots, including Pete Stanek. Like I said, I don't know what that is. Some who are activated have not the best powers and are sent to the facility in apparently a book that's called, or sent to the facility. He wrote Secret Wars, and I don't know if that's a separate book.
Secret Weapons.
No, but he wrote Secret Wars.
Oh, he did.
So I don't know if that's a separate Valiant book. I haven't done the research on that. That Charles, maybe hook us up with a little bit something about if there's actually a storyline called
please.
Secret Wars. Let us know what's going on with that. Or maybe he meant the Secret Weapons and it auto-corrected. I have no idea. And then he continues, Livewire helped Harada, but then rebelled. And the last line is, she is a member of Unity with Exo-Man of War, Ninjak, and the Eternal Warrior.
Nice.
Unity sounds to me like a Justice League or an Avengers kind of
Similar.
parallel. Yeah. So there you go. That's the feedback from Charles that I was saving for this when we did the deep dive on Secret Weapons #2. And very much, yes, Jim, maybe I'll wash my freezer door.
And maybe I won't.
Maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll have to see. All right, so there you go. That's the reading room, Secret Weapons edition, plus stuff. Scott's cornucopia is the seasoning to the soup. You know, in a case like this, it's the seasoning to the soup. So what are we? August 13th, 2017. Look for this episode to drop. I'm telling them to look for this episode to drop in the middle of the week, but they're not going to hear me say that until the episode actually drops in the middle of the week. Why do I talk?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Usually Wednesday-ish.
Usually Wednesdayish. Usually. Usually.
We still got to figure out the Lost episode. Maybe next week.
Probably not,
Why not?
because I'm not going to have time to edit it.
I thought you already had it all done. Never mind.
I have the raw. The edit has to get totally redone.
Right.
All right. Anyway, back to the point. Back to reality. Back to gravity. I'm sorry. I'm in a mower. Sunday, August 13th, 2017. This has been the reading room.
Yes, it has.
Thank you once again to Charles for conspiring to make this happen. This is really cool. I'm glad that we're doing this.
I'm saddened that it's only 4 issues.
We'll have to.
But we're gonna
I was
figure
talking to
something
Scott
else out.
before we went live, and it's like, well, Transformers are originally supposed to be a 4-issue series,
Yeah, they're
but
giving
that's
a whole-
35 years later. We still got stuff going on. I'm not going to mention He Who Shall Not Be Named in the same episode where we talk about a Valiant book for the sake of Charles. Enough said. Okay.
All right.
This is Scott. I'm Eric. We will come at you. We will be taking next week off. Thank you. I've
Yeah,
never reminded
yeah,
myself.
yeah.
We will be taking next week off, but we should be back at you again the week following. So it'll be like August 27th, 28th, around there that we're going to record again. So,
Oh,
yeah.
right before the Dragon Con.
And after Defenders drops,
Oh yeah, that's when.
end of the week.
Oh,
Easy. Easy.
okay.
I'm saying easy. I'm making the same noises inside. All right, we're gonna cut now. For Scott, this is Eric. We'll see you again in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Take it easy.